It's Friday, June 7th, 2024. Welcome to episode 106 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, a busy city council meeting extends into the wee hours and includes a shutdown of a scientific experiment. Brian Wu dazzles in his return to the Bay Area. Fun with sand at Crown Memorial. Look for an increase in your electric bill. Altarena Playhouse and Admiral Maltings get some amazing recognition. And you'll never believe who's putting in a personal appearance at a local grocery store. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story, Tuesday's City Council meeting was busy, contentious, and long. Let's take a look at what was covered during the marathon session. As noted in episode 102, the subject of drones has entered the conversation as one of the tools for police to use, notably in the case of automotive sideshows. Last month, Council directed staff to return at a future meeting with a public hearing to consider purchasing and using drones for sideshows and other critical incident response and enforcement. That future meeting was this week, as APD requested that Council authorize a policy governing its use of drones and the purchase of 2 drones from Axon Enterprise. APD Chief Nishant Joshi noted that drones are easy to deploy, economical, and offer two-way voice and visual communication. Allowed uses would include life preservation, felony crimes presenting a risk to public or officer safety, sideshows, riots, mass casualty events, disaster response and recovery, and post-incident crime scene documentation. Prohibited uses would include weaponization, facial recognition, random surveillance, targeting of people based on actual or perceived characteristics, harassment or intimidation, and personal business. APD will publicly document its drone use on the city's website. Police Chief Joshi added that drones allow APD to collect information for intervention and enforcement without jeopardizing officer safety and escalating danger. As an example, he related the story of an armed suspect taken into custody without incident in April of 23, thanks to the use of an Alameda County drone. You may remember that story from episode 48. In May, public comment was largely supportive of drone use by APD. Different story this time around, as the majority of commenters expressed concern over unwanted surveillance, particularly as it applies to marginalized groups. Some also expressed concern over the drone vendor Axon, which has been accused of having a toxic corporate culture. In the end, Vice Mayor Desog's motion to purchase 2 drones for APD and approve a policy governing their use passed unanimously. Police Chief Joshi also presented APD's annual military equipment report as required by Assembly Bill 481. APD deployed its emergency response vehicle 12 times in 2023, using it to transport officers and agents to provide protection for high-risk operations. APD has received no complaints about its equipment use since adopting the military equipment use policy. An equipment inventory and audit revealed that all military equipment was accounted for and in assigned storage areas. The report was accepted on a unanimous vote. Back in episode 100, we reported that the Planning Board had approved a use permit for Natel Energy to expand their outdoor fish loop equipment at Alameda Point as they continue to test their fish-friendly water power turbines. That permit came before City Council on Tuesday. Public comment was largely favorable, including from neighboring businesses. However, Todd Hickman, Building 43 winery co-owner and winemaker, referred to Natel as, quote, a great project, great concept, just the wrong location, end quote, citing a degradation of the view and an overall shift in usage of the area from what was originally proposed when Building 43 opened in 2014, and manufacturing facilities weren't really part of the picture. Ultimately, the Planning Board recommendation was upheld on a 4-1 vote, with Trish Herrera Spencer dissenting. Well into Wednesday morning, the Council grappled with the subject of the climate experiments on board the USS Hornet. In episode 97, I reported about the University of Washington conducting research into the spraying of saltwater particles into the air as an attempt to reflect sunlight back into the upper atmosphere. The project was written up by the New York Times. In May, as noted in episode 102, the city put a stop to the experiments, claiming the activity violated the Hornet's lease with Alameda. The city worked with a series of independent experts to assess what, if any, hazard the experiments might present. The results? Those efforts found that the spray tests posed, quote, little to no risk in the community or to wildlife, end quote, with no potential for impact on local climate and weather. Environmental consultants also assessed the noise, vibration, and emissions from the testing apparatus and anticipated no violation of an Endangered Species Act biological opinion that protects leased tern habitats. Despite these findings, public opinion was generally opposed to the experiment, although some members of the public did see the potential benefit for climate research. In the end, the council voted unanimously to deny the Hornets' request to continue the experiment, with Councilmember Malia Vela citing a lack of transparency on the part of the University of Washington. With all that going on in one supersized meeting, we needed 2 reporters to cover it all. Ken Durr has the Hornet experiment issue covered, while Karen Jensen tends to the rest of the agenda. Find both articles at alamedapost.com/news. Brian Wu came back to the Bay and continued his impressive run. In a Thursday afternoon contest against the A's in Oakland, Brian turned in arguably his best outing of the year, twirling 6 innings of scoreless ball, scattering 2 hits, striking out 6, and once again not allowing a walk. He threw 85 pitches, 60 for strikes. His ERA now a minuscule 1.07. He left the game with a 2-0 lead. Seattle bullpen took care of business in the final 3 frames as the Mariners won 3-0 to maintain their hold atop the AL West. Brian's record now 3-0 with 3 no decisions. The Mariners are 6-0 in those starts. Brian's next 2 starts will be in Seattle, Tuesday against the White Sox and Sunday the 16th against the Rangers. Last Saturday's Alameda Sandcastle and Sculpture Contest featured 32 sandcastle entries, 59 sand sculpture entries, and 415 total participants. Categories included ages 12 years and under, ages 13 years and over, and family. The judging criteria was broken down into 4 categories: design, detail, neatness, and technique. While Oakland residents swept the best in show categories, Alamedans took the top 3 spots in 12 and under sand sculpture, as well as family sandcastle. While it did win a ribbon, my personal favorite was a reverse sculpture, looking exactly like Wile E. Coyote had just plummeted through the sands of Crown Memorial. There was definitely something for everyone. For pictures and a list of winners, see Kelsey Gore's article at alamedapost.com/features. Effective July 1st, you can expect a 3% increase in your electric bill from Alameda Municipal Power. The hike was approved by Alameda Public Utilities Board. Even with the increase, our rates remain about 48% lower than those of PG&E. That's the benefit of having a not-for-profit municipal energy company as opposed to an investor-owned utility. From the Did You Know file, AMP is the oldest public electric utility west of the Mississippi. It was founded way back in 1887. Details at alamedapost.com/news. Speaking of history, get ready for our next Walking History Tour as we delve into the subject of Fernside. Dennis Evanosky has set the table for Sunday's walk with his article, Alfred A. Cohen's Ancestors: Pirates, Scandals, Railroads, More. Find the article at alamedapost.com/history and get your tour tickets at alamedapost.com/tours. Some congratulations are in order for local establishments. Altarena Playhouse, currently running the Pulitzer Prize-winning play Doubt by John Patrick Shanley. Our own Gene Kahane was impressed with the production, shared his thoughts at alamedapost.com/features. The show has also caught the attention of the larger Bay Area. The San Francisco Bay Area Theater Critics Circle has added it to their Go-See list of recommended shows. Doubt runs weekends through the end of June. When you think of Admiral Maltings, you probably think beer, and rightfully so, but since malt is a critical ingredient in stronger spirits, they also stock an impressive selection of whiskeys made with their floor-malted grains. How impressive? Their in-house bar, The Rake, was just named one of America's best bars by Craft Spirits Magazine, the official publication of the American Craft Spirits Association. The honor was bestowed in recognition of their spirit selection, which came as a happy surprise to co-founder Dave McLean. Quote, "Our humble spirits list pales in comparison to most of the other bars mentioned, generally by an order of magnitude or more. We're grateful that they recognized us not for quantity, but for the unique curation approach, only carrying spirits made with the malt that we produce." End quote. On the subject of spirits, you know that many celebrities are involved in the manufacture and marketing of liquor. Sammy Hagar, Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, and others. Actor Jason Momoa is one of them, with his Meili vodka co-created with designer Bruce Halverson. Jason and Bruce are on a promotional bottle signing tour, and on Wednesday, June 12th, they'll be stopping at Lucky at Marina Bay Parkway from 2:30 until 4 p.m. Sounds like a rumor, but it's true. So if traffic seems a bit busy around Marina Bay Parkway, you'll know why. Just time for a quick look at alamedapost.com/events. As mentioned, Doubt at Altarena Playhouse. Saturday, Farmers Market from 9 to 1. Family Cycling Workshop at Waterfront Park from 10 until 12:30. Sunday, from 2 until 3:30, Cheese and Spirit Pairing at St. George Spirits. Find more events at alamedapost.com/events. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. To give a tax-deductible donation, head to alamedapost.com/memberships. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, MSN, YouTube, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, as well as our very own subreddit. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Apple News. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcasts, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler. I'll be back next Friday with episode 107 of the Alameda Postcast.